Good day, Warren County Pioneers. Until a few months ago, Tennessee had one of the most robust and fastest growing economies in the nation. Low unemployment and workforce development programs initiated through our qualified work programs at our public high schools, our community college and TCATs was filling that void for employment. Our future looked very bright. Then this pandemic hit, and the world has been turned upside down along with the rest of us, with a whole lot of unknowns ahead of us. Today we have Commissioner of Labor and Workforce Development, Dr. Jeff McCord, with us today. He has a BS degree from Georgia Tech, an MBA from Kennesaw State, and a doctorate of education from the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. He was named Commissioner of Labor by Governor Lee in January of 2019. At Northeast State Community College in Kingsport, he was VP of Economic Development and Workforce. He also had a corporate stint with Eastman Chemicals and played a huge role in the expansion of the Kingsport Academic Village. He's been a big proponent of education programs across the state, CTE training and workforce development, particularly in the manufacturing sector. So today we welcome Commissioner Jeff McCord to our program. So Commissioner, we want to welcome you today. And I thought since Warren County has kind of suffered along with every other rural community across the state during this crisis with high unemployment and manufacturing being affected, particularly in the automotive industry, tier suppliers with the trade sanctions as well. Our agriculture has been impacted as well. Even many of our employees have had a hard time qualifying for unemployment. Our tourism and hospitality industry has been affected as well with the reduction of travel. So I thought you might give us a little overview of what the workforce picture looks like in Tennessee right now and what the state is doing to basically bring some stability to that.
Yes, sir, and thank you, first of all, for having me, Mayor. I greatly appreciate the chance to talk to you and the folks in Warren County. So let me give you an overview of where you hit on a little bit of where we were and where we've been. Now we went from the lowest unemployment rate in history to the highest in a matter of weeks. With that, right now I think the number is close to 800,000 people filed unemployment insurance initial first-time claims, which is, I think, right around 25% of the workforce, growing every day for that number, unfortunately. And so the strain on organizations and systems was immense. We also had 3 new programs from the federal government that we implemented on their behalf. And so it's been, to your point, it's been tough on a lot of different folks as we've worked through this thing. Now, on the other side of that, those initial claims have started to come down. We are seeing some of the lowest ones we've seen since March 15th. We're also seeing people start to go back to work, slowly but steadily returning to work. And that's a good thing. That's where we want to be. That's where we're focused. As we look at what that means as we progress, the fundamentals of what we need to have, a skilled workforce, are still the same. I'll give you an example. So during this whole pandemic, Tennessee started more new apprenticeship programs than they had in the last 5 years. We put a special emphasis on that, and we actually had a 4-year goal of over 1,000 apprentices, and we surpassed that first year too. So what that says is that companies still need that skilled workforce, still need the technical workforce that's there, and as we recover, there's a great opportunity for us to transition some of that workforce that may be out of work and provide them skills to get good life-sustaining work, which is not only good economically, it's good emotionally, it's good for your communities and the prosperity that comes. It's not just individual, it's certainly community. So we are still in the middle of this thing, and it feels sometimes like we're can't see the light at the end of the tunnel. But Mayor, we are getting there, and I really, my message is we need to keep moving forward and let's not give up hope. I think there's a lot of reason as we move through for some optimism.
Well, oftentimes a crisis gives more opportunities to grow and to rethink and to rebuild. Warren County has done an exceptional job with our CTE programs. We received a $1 million give grant to help link that partnership between the high school programs and our TCAT. Of course, we got the Drive to 55 grant from the governor to create our robotics center. Our mechatronics program has done an exceptional job, and it's become basically the template for other programs across the state and the nation. So Warren County has done a great deal to bring workforce development here, but we're looking to expand that because we're looking at the next phase of workforce development and artificial intelligence and doing a lot with technology looking forward. And I feel like this pandemic is probably going to make us rethink the way people work, even the way we play sometimes as well. But I know there'll be a lot more virtual learning programs. So how do you see virtual programs working with oftentimes these hands-on CTE, industrial type training programs? So, where are we looking? What can we do next to prepare for that?
So first of all, congratulations on the leadership that Warren County's shown in understanding that the need to build an infrastructure, a workforce infrastructure, just like you would a road, so that you can serve your businesses that you have and also set yourself up for growth in the future. So I think what has happened, Mayor, is we have, whether it's work or whether it's learning, we were moving towards more virtual environments. And I think what has happened is this pandemic has just accelerated that. I think I don't see us going back all the way to where we were, whether that's a work environment or whether that's a education environment. And to me, that gives actually some opportunity to Warren County and thinking about that, how the county may be able to position itself. In terms of CTE, I think there will be certainly a use of virtual, but at some point, the magic in this education and the reason why it's so valuable is a student has to put their hands on something. They have to build something. They have to problem solve with connecting their hands to their head, and that's what brings value. And so we just have to know how to do that safely and continue down that safe path as we battle this thing. And but there's always going to be a need for labs, a need for instructor to show a student on the technical side how to which knobs to turn, or which if this is broken, how do you trace it back? And so I don't see at some point on the technical side we'll still need classrooms. We'll still need places where students can go and learn. We just need to do it safely.
And we've got a great partnership and good leadership in that community of public and private industry, and that has meshed very well with Motlow and our TCAT and our CTE programs. And the Department of Labor and Workforce Development has been also a player in our success as well. So we want to thank you for that. Couple more questions. A lot of our tier automotive suppliers here in Warren County are worried a little bit about the future of the automobile industry and where that's going from here. And many of them think with some of these shutdowns and closures during this crisis, many of their skilled workers are going to flee and go to other markets where they can be employed. and then there will be a huge void to be filled by our tier suppliers locally, and some of our best paying jobs and our biggest employers are those tier suppliers. So I know, some of the trade sanctions and border restrictions has led to some shortages of materials, but my tier suppliers are worried about the skilled workers that they might lose during this pandemic. So has the state got anything in mind or got anything to help stabilize that situation so we don't lose some of those critical employees for our tier suppliers?
Yes, I think at the end of the day, somebody's going to want to go where they can make a living, and so the economic engine is key to keeping skilled people. But I would say, again, going back to the infrastructure, having an infrastructure to continue to produce and educate those type of people is really the answer to that question. We were in a situation already where we had the demographic bubble where we had baby boomers who had moved through, and we had spent 2 or 3 decades of disparaging and discouraging and even disparaging technical education. So we already had an issue with producing and educating folks to do that very noble work. And so I think the answer to that is to continue to keep the infrastructure going, because Mayor, there's always, whether it's economic troubles or new technology like electric cars, there's always trends that are competitive trends that are going to be pushing on us. But we need to have that solid base so we can adjust, especially on the technical side.
Thank you. We're trying to stay ahead of that game. I've been meeting with Dr. Torrance at Motlow about what we can do to help groom this change in the automotive industry to electric vehicles. So I think artificial intelligence and new technology, emerging technology in electric vehicles and hybrid vehicles may be the route that we take. So we may be depending a little bit upon the state to give us some direction or some funding for our next phase of training that we're trying to implement. So thank you for all that support that's been there over the last few years. Another thing we've had a little bit of an issue with is unemployment compensation, and for a lot of self-employed, a lot of 1099 and gig economy workers in Warren County. They've had a hard time either qualifying or filling out the applications or qualifying for some of the unemployment compensation that's been out there. It's gotten better. And so if you could give a little update on where the future of that additional $300 additional unemployment dollars, when those are going to be delivered or when they're going to start going out, and any kind of hope for some of those people who have been self-employed and feel a little shortchanged because they've not received checks.
Yeah, for sure. So on the $300, that is coming from FEMA, which is highly unusual, but it's just the environment that we're in right now, Mayor. And so that $300, we have had the application approved, and we've actually just yesterday received funding from FEMA. And so we will, here in the coming days, we'll be able to start processing those $300 payments. But the key here is our anticipation is that that is going to last maybe 5 or 6 weeks. There's a finite amount of money available, and with the number of states signing up, we don't anticipate that program lasting very long. It's a federal program. And unless and until Congress enacts additional benefits, which we haven't seen much movement, we'll go back to the base state benefit after that $300 is exhausted. And so, as you can imagine, we talked to our delegation quite a bit on the federal level to see if there's going to be any movement. But I wish I could be more positive about that. The $300 is a short term, and then I don't see much movement after that $300. So that's just where we are. But as we've learned here over the last few months, things can change very quickly.
They can indeed, and I've been in touch with our delegation in Washington as well about some of these concerns, and I'm sure you, like me, are on conference calls and in constant contact as well, because I feel like information and communication is the key to being able to address the next step or the next crisis or the next challenge that's placed upon us. So, so we're not sure what's coming from DC. Is there anything coming from Nashville that you see on the horizon in workforce development or in assisting in the growing need? I will tell you, as a rural community, I've had people in my office all morning long needing assistance for rent and utilities, and so it's become almost overwhelming daily task or chore to deal with this. We have our UCHRA, our Upper Cumberland Development District, and others that are trying to assist in some of this, but it is becoming a major issue. So is there anything that's going to be implemented from Nashville or through the Department of Labor for any kind of future job growth or development that we can put some more people back to work, or an infrastructure plan of some sort that might be able to stabilize the job market here?
Yes, sir. So we have just yesterday re-engaged our Rural Task Force group, which is a multi-agency group, to address exactly the sort of issues and concerns that you're talking about. So I don't have anything specific yet out of that group, but please stay tuned for that. Let me just say, your concerns, what you're communicating, it's not falling on deaf ears. There's a high level of understanding and concern about those issues as well. And I want to take if I can, Mayor, a point of personal privilege that I often tell, and I know that we call you county executive there, but so I apologize for continuing to call you mayor.
Everybody still does. It's fine.
We were having the conversation in the office yesterday. So I'm from Sullivan County, where my mayor is Venable, Richard Venable up there.
Right.
And the job and the service that county mayors do is extraordinary. It is a job that is all about service, and service often involves sacrifice, and I know that. So I just want to thank you also for the service that you're providing. And I know it's an all-day thing, actually an all-week thing. So thank you for that as well.
And thank you very much. I do want to say a shout out a little bit for the workforce office in Cookeville. James Simpson has done a remarkable job. Our employees at the American Job Centers have done an exceptional job, and Becky Hull has been a godsend to us as we try to implement some criminal justice reform here. We're working through programs at our jail to put some hope in the lives of those inmates who can receive training and workforce development through these programs that we've initiated. So we've put back our high-set GED program. We're going to do a virtual welding program, a Snap-on Tools certificate licensure program as well. And workforce has been remarkable in assisting and helping to put some of these programs together. So, together, we build a better tomorrow for everybody. And the Department of Labor and Workforce has been exceptional in their assistance and the expertise and the guidance that we have received as we've started to implement. Since the pandemic, we've had to put a lot of our programs on hold, but in talking with Becky yesterday, we're moving forward with our new TCAT director, Nate Garrett, to put these programs into place very soon. And so we're identifying the inmates, and that'll be another worker we can fill a job with and give a little hope and security and rebuild the lives of families across our community. And so we're thankful that the Department of Labor and Workforce Development and the Cookeville office have been there to assist. So it's been another remarkable journey despite the crisis that's been laid upon us.
That sounds very promising, Mayor. Very, very promising, and thank you.
So as we finish up here, have you got any closing remarks about the future or hope or what we can do as a community to help and assist the Department of Labor and your service to our great state of Tennessee?
Yes, sir. And so you had mentioned it earlier about private and public and education working together to make things happen. And it's the same thing here. Without those partnerships, especially during the pandemic, it's the load's too heavy. And so I think us working together, we'll work through this. Maybe not as fast as we all had hoped, but we'll work through it. But we have to work through it together. So I think that's what I would leave with, Mayor.
Well, we're not bashful about asking for assistance, but we've got a wonderful and remarkable team here, and the cooperation and assistance from the state and the governor's office and all the commissioners from ECD to the Department of Labor, all the commissions. They have done an exceptional job over the last few years in assisting what we're doing here, and we will continue to make the progress and make the state proud of our success here in Warren County. So we want to thank you because we hope that the jobs are going to be there for our future, and we hope to train the children and the young adults in our community to fill the voids in the labor market across this region. And we're not just thinking about Warren County, because an investment in any additional or surrounding county is going to bring additional jobs to people right here in Warren County that may actually get on the road and drive to the nearby county to take that job, but they bring their money back here and they spend their money here, they raise their families here. So it's a great investment to think about these partnerships and regionalism, and once again working with the state closely on programs and projects that once again create the jobs for tomorrow. So thank you very much.
Hey, thank you, Mayor, and have a good rest of the day.
You do as well. Thank you, sir, for your service.
Bye-bye.
So I want to thank Commissioner Jeff McCord from the Department of Labor and Workforce Development for joining us today on Ben Lomond. Today also on the program, we've got Todd Wilmore from Warren County Schools to give us a few updates, and so I welcome him to the podium.
Good morning. Thank you, County Executive Haley. I appreciate you the opportunity to be here. And I've been asked just to update a few things about athletics in Warren County, and I can just tell you that our student athletes are very excited about the opportunity to be able to play. I know it's unusual times, to say the least, and just from my experience from coaching and just from our other coaches and just our student athletes in general, they understand how fragile this situation is, and they saw it in the spring when their friends and teammates lost seasons. So it's very important for them to be able to play and be able to participate. So they're doing the right things, I believe, in terms of social distancing properly and wearing masks when appropriately. But we see it in our schools as well as athletics. So we're very excited about that. But I will say that fall sports are off to a really good start. Cross country, golf, volleyball, girls soccer, and football have all had competitions and all done relatively well. Very excited about some of the things they've done. The girls in volleyball and cross country and golf and soccer have had some very positive things. Some nice wins. Football obviously had a great win this past Friday night in DeKalb County. Looking forward to our first home football game this coming Friday night at Nunley Stadium. So I just want to make you aware of some things that I think most everyone knows, but it's good to reiterate those things. That expect to wear a mask, expect to have your temperature taken, be patient with the gate workers. It's going to be possibly our capacity, while it will be limited to 1,500 entrants or spectators total, there'll still be some lines, and just be patient with us. We'll work through it. We'll probably make some mistakes, but that's okay. We'll get better at it. So just be prepared. and just come in and support our athletic programs and just be excited about having this opportunity, because it can be taken away from us in no time. So in terms of athletics moving forward, we have our winter sports are just around the corner: basketball, wrestling, bowling. That they begin their seasons latter part of October, early November in terms of preparation. Right now, they're on a little bit of a hiatus for about 2 weeks. We've had a few COVID cases and exposures that have limited some of their practices. So just be patient with them. They're going to be back around September the 8th, I think, is the date we've set for them to return for conditioning and practice and that sort of thing. So as far as the fall sports, just keep supporting our folks and our young people. They're excited to be out there. They're excited to be at school. They're excited to be participating in athletics. So just encourage them to do the right things, social distance, wear masks, and take this very serious. It's in a pandemic we haven't seen obviously in our lifetime, so it's important for us all to take it seriously. Thank you.
I want to thank our athletic director, Todd Wilmore, but we need to make sure that we stay proud of our school leadership, the students and athletes that have gone back into the schools and back onto the fields and the courts. To do what they do best is to be commended. Our coaches, our teachers, our support staff, all those folks that are in the school system, including our school board and director of schools, and all the staff at the central office are doing their best to protect the most precious resource that we have in our community, and that's our children. So as our world and our nation and our state and our community knows, these are continuing to be challenging times for all of us. Even with the hope of convalescent plasma and a vaccine on the way, we continue to face widespread frustration, dissent, and fatigue. We recognize that we cannot control the behavior of others, but we can choose how we respond to it. We are our own choices. Attitude is a choice. Happiness is a choice. Optimism is a choice. Kindness is a choice. Respect is a choice. Compassion is a choice. Cooperation is a choice. And most of all, love is a choice. Life is all about those choices. Things we cannot control are not our choices at all. But as President JFK said, every accomplishment starts with a decision and a choice to try. That is all the president and the governor and every local official has ever asked of our citizens. Try to do your best, try to be responsible, try to be good citizens, and try to make better choices. It's a time to put our needs above our wants. We need to keep our kids in school. We need to keep our businesses open. We need the economy and their job markets growing. We need to keep our essential workers safe, keep our supply chains moving, keep our health providers protected, keep law and order in place, and keep our focus on battling this disease. If we want things to return to normal, keep in mind we need to complete a few simple tasks. Wear the mask in appropriate situations. Common sense goes a long way on where to wear them, how to wear them, and why to wear them. Practice good personal hygiene, something we've been told and taught as a child all the way through life. Social distance when possible and avoid those large crowds when you cannot. If you cannot, then make sure that you wear your mask and do your best to social distance. When in doubt, if you don't feel safe, stay at home. Also, to respect others' ability to protect themselves from this disease. We have a lot of elderly people and health-challenged individuals out there who are in fear, and we don't need to make them fearful of going out in public or going shopping or picking up their medicine at the pharmacy. We need to make them feel that we respect their wishes and we are trying our best to protect them. Most of all, let's model some good behavior and encourage others to do the same. None of us know what tomorrow is going to bring, but we all know that poor choices can cost us a lot. As much progress as our community has made over the last few years, And with Warren County being selected as County of the Year by Economic Community Development District, we have already shown the rest of the state, even Commissioner McCord alluded to it earlier in this broadcast, that Warren County has done a lot of things right over the last few years. So let's continue that journey. So when we rebound and the economy grows back again, that we'll be more prosperous than ever, and that better times are ahead. Just a little reminder, county and city operations are still on a hybrid schedule. When in doubt, please call those offices to make sure that the work that needs to be done or the applications or the payments that need to be made can be processed as possible. They're still testing at the health department, and so from 9-11 on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and on Thursdays from 3 to 5. And that our schools are still on a hybrid schedule. So as parents adapt and students adjust, we will continue on with education and keep everyone safe. The governor will be doing a news conference this afternoon, and so we've also asked him to join us next week on the BLTV program, so we're awaiting his scheduler to make that happen. As we move forward as a community, as we cooperate and selectively decide to make those good choices and put the needs of our community ahead of our personal wants, I want to leave you with a quote from Ronald Reagan. Live simply, love generously, care deeply, speak kindly, and leave the rest to God. Together, we are Warren Strong. Thank you.